Hello, hello, hello. I'm a local hippie, and today we are going to be talking about a novel that is so influential, so popular. I'm pretty sure we've all heard of it before. Um, and this novel has inspired many authors that I have read, authors like J.K. Rowling, authors like Haruki Murakami. This author is so influential. He has influenced me as well with his work, not with this one, but with another of his works that is actually one of my favorite novels of all time. Today, we're talking about George Orwell. More specifically, we're talking about George Orwell's 1984. With this book, I guess I should say that this is my second time trying to read this book. My first time reading it through to completion. Um, with my first read, I thought, okay, this is pretty good. But for me, it seemed too slow. And I just wasn't into it. And what got me back into it was reading about North Korea and reading about socialism, communism, and reading a novel, not a novel, it wasn't a novel. It was a nonfiction um, following the lives of a few of the people who escaped North Korea and just learning about that socialist communist system. It had me thinking about 1984 because it was so similar to a lot of the things that were happening and to the social economic system that is in place in 1984, except this is real life. North Korea is a very real place, and the struggles that that country and its people has had to endure over the years because of socialism and because of communism and because of the the metaphorical boot being shoved down on their face. I It had me wanting to read 1984, and so I did. Now, I rated this book 5 stars, but I rated it 5 stars objectively because it obviously does have objective value. That's why it's a classic. That's why it's inspired countless authors. Um, because objectively, this book is valuable because it's almost so real. Like reading about North Korea and then going to read 1984, I was like, oh, I may not like this, like subjectively. It may be slow. The plot may be like, what the hell? But this is so real. This can be real. This is not a drill. This is not fiction. Like, so objectively, I rated this book 5 stars. It's excellent because of the themes that it explores. And again, because of how lifelike this socioeconomic system came off to me as the reader after reading about like an eerily similar real life socioeconomic system in North Korea. So, in 1984, we are following basically two characters, really the one main character, Winston. Um, and I was just watching a YouTube video where the YouTuber said that Winston was a very weak character. And yes, he was. He really was a very weak, just not like motivated. It's like he knew that things in this system were wrong, but there was nothing he was willing to do about it. But at the same time, he's one man, and what can he do? And actually, you know what? I don't know that that's my thought, that he was weak. I don't think that he was weak. I think Winston was actually a very strong character. I think mentally he had a very strong mental fortitude because they did not break him. The system tried to break him and it did not happen. What I will call Winston and his sidekick Julia is selfish. Yes, I will call them selfish, um, because they were definitely not two people who were willing to die for what they believed. And these two believed different things for different reasons. And I loved that contrast of like them having a difference of opinion, but still being able to come together. But really, I think their coming together was out of desperation of just wanting to have someone near them, wanting to have a warm body, because Julia and Winston really had nothing in common. When you listen to them or when you read their dialogue, you know, and Julia's falling asleep as Winston is talking because either she doesn't find what he's saying important enough to stay up or, you know, she's disagreeing, which inherently there's nothing wrong with disagreement. I think one of the foundations for any strong relationship is going to be disagreement. You're not going to agree on everything in any relationship. But again, it was a lack of respect there, and it was very obvious to me, the reader, that Julia and Winston were only together for the purpose of fulfilling their own needs that were being not fulfilled in this society, because were meant to be a certain type of way. And it's explained in the book, and it's explained really well. When you take away all the passions that people have, like for instance sex, they have to they have to expel that passion somewhere. They have to get out their frustrations and this pent up aggression, if you will, somewhere. And that's going to be to it's going to that release of emotion is going to fuel the party, and that's what they want. You see, they want puppets in this system. They don't want individuals. This is very anti-individual, this state in which they're living in this world of 1984. And I thought that George Orwell, one of his passions in life, it's pretty obvious to me through reading his writing, was politics and how these policies and these socioeconomic systems affect people and how life looks under very controlling, big, sprawling government. And and to me, that knowledge and that foresight of what these systems do to populations was genius to me, and why I rated it 5 stars. Although personally, I thought the story was very slow. The only thing that kept me holding on was just the the way he was so able to write such a realistic government, because you don't think that you might think that this government, this sort of government, is outlandish until you realize North Korea exists and it's so real, and the similarities were just so striking. And I just thought that it was genius objectively. And I think that if you're someone who's super into politics, super into socioeconomic systems, super into the different governments throughout the world, and that's something you're interested in, that you would like it too. But I think you would need to supplement it with some prior reading, some prior brushing up on the different socioeconomic systems and the way that they have affected the different nations that live under them, to really appreciate this novel. And I only say that because that was what needed to happen in order for me to truly appreciate this novel, and recognize the genius that Orwell was for what it was. There were lots of things in this novel, lots of themes and lots of like little things that just gave me the ick and I didn't really like, and I thought that's weird. But overall, um, the message and just the striking resemblance to some of the other socioeconomic systems that have failed in the world, and continue to fail, just granted me the ability to rate this book 5 stars, and one that I would read again and again and again and again. Even though, let me say this, even though I rated it 5 stars objectively, subjectively I'd probably give it, like, as far as my personal tastes go, I'd probably give it like maybe like 3 stars. Yeah, probably 3 stars. The story itself wasn't, for me, and I'm not really a plot driven person. Um, and maybe it wasn't even the plot, because maybe the plot was a little weak. It pretty much was. This was pretty much a slice of life, to be completely honest with you. This was pretty much a slice of life. Plot was pretty much non-existent. Um, but to my taste, and as far as these characters go, yeah, they were pretty bland. And so subjectively, I would give it a 3 star, nothing more than that. But objectively, for some of the themes, the political themes in this book, yeah, that was stellar. 5 stars. So yeah, that's gonna bring us to the end of the video. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening, and most importantly, I hope you read a really good book. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.